Remember this? The sound of 2014 and the origins of the Ice Bucket Challenge. Hundreds of thousands have taken part to raise money for ALS awareness and research over the past 3 years. Then last week, we found out it's working. A team funded by money the Ice Bucket Challenge campaign raised has found a gene which appears to contribute to ALS, a disease which is often called Lou Gehrig's, but whose ultimate treatment may be named after another local athlete. Joining me now is John Landers. He's a neurology professor at UMass Medical School who led the team that made that discovery. Congratulations, John. Good to meet you.
Thank you for having me here.
We're also joined by Andrew Frady's brother of the great Pete, who was the inspiration behind that Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm thrilled to meet you, Andrew. Thanks so much for being here. And your mother's pretty terrific, too, by the way. How much money you raised so far? $250 million or something insane like that?
Yeah, $220 million worldwide, and that's just the number that they have recorded. We estimate maybe close to $500 million.
And how much, the year before, I always forget the year before you guys started, 2013, where did they raise, like $3 million or something?
Their entire budget for the whole year of 2013 was $23 million, ALS Association.
23, and you're still not done. This August is yet another challenge. Am I right about that?
Absolutely, every August until a cure, Jim.
Okay, I got a D in biology, so be kind with me.
Okay.
Tell me in English what you and your team were able to do, discovered in the last handful of period of time.
Very briefly, what we're able to do is identify a new gene which increases your risk for ALS. So if you have certain variations in your gene, it could increase your risk of ALS, and as a result, this leads us to identify what may be going wrong in ALS patients.
And ultimately, I know people who do what you do for a living hate huge leaps, but ultimately that kind of information is what leads others to be able to potentially discover treatments for ALS. Is that not right?
Absolutely. So for every new gene we discover, we learn a little bit more about what is going wrong in ALS patients. We really don't know what is going wrong. And through genetics, what we can do is we know the gene that we've identified, have an idea of what it does. And if we can compare that to other genes that are known to cause ALS, what we can do is start to know what is going wrong in those patients.
This is a big deal. Is that a fair statement?
It is a good study. It's a great study.
It's a scientist in him. Could you have done it without money from them?
Absolutely not.
How much money did you get from them?
So we received $1 million.
$1 million out of $250 million. $1 million, and you were able to do this.
Yes.
How did your family and your brother, how did your family react when they, we all hear what John and I were talking before with you about, well, what did they do with the money? What's it producing? It's great they did it. When your family hears the actual consequence of the generosity of strangers, for lack of a better, what was the reaction in the family?
Yeah, we're so excited and so grateful for everyone who dumped and donated money to fund geniuses like John and other doctors across the world to hopefully, fund breakthroughs and lead us somewhere down to a cure.
Every time I spend time with your mother, I say, I feel sorry for myself about everything. I didn't have a decent breakfast. I didn't, the most pathetic little things. And I always say, does your brother feel, her son, does he ever feel sorry for himself? Never. Does anybody in the family? No. Does he feel, or do any of you feel any bitterness that while the great news is, because of work like his and his colleagues, someday a Pete Frady's will not have to go through what your brother did? Is there any bitterness that it didn't happen before?
My brother says that what he has is not a tragedy. He says the 7-year-olds with cancer who aren't able to enjoy their lives to the fullest. He has a wife, he has a daughter, he's got all of life's special moments. He does not see himself as a tragedy. He sees that a cure has not been found in 75 years is the tragedy.
Is he that strong, or he does that? I don't know him, I just know of him. Is he that strong, or is he act that strong to keep his family, wife, and I know his little baby, to keep all of you strong? Is he that strong?
I'm talking to you, Jim. I'll tell you he is that strong, but if I was talking to him, I don't like to inflate his ego, so I would say he acts that strong.
So where are we in the grand scheme of things? I know it's a big deal. I'll call it a big deal. All the objective people have called it a big deal. Are we inching towards treatment of some portion of the ALS population? Where are we in the grand scheme of things?
Absolutely. I think, to go back and learn a little bit about ALS, you can divide it into two different portions. There's those that have a family history, which account for about 10%, and the other 90% don't. There's been some great strides made into how we can actually treat those with familial ALS, those that we know what the gene mutation is, through gene therapy and other approaches where we can shut down the mutant gene that is occurring in those people.
Will I upset you if I say, if we're sitting here 5 years from now, will you say to me, we've come up with a treatment for that 10% of the population? 10 years?
Listen, the sooner the better. If I'm out of a job, I'm happy to be out of a job.
But this is within reach. This is not a
definitely within
far
reach.
away kind of thing here.
In terms of that type of therapy, no, it is definitely within reach, yes.
This is really exciting.
The news is obviously great. ALS being in the news is great. There's a lot of work left to be done. 5 years from now, I would love, I'd love to catch up with John and get a beer and celebrate the cure.
1 million out of all you've raised, and there's a lot more. John, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
And your family should
Jim,
feel pretty
thank
good
you.
about itself. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.